Hello everyone, Jeet with JKD Physiology and more, and today is day 7 of leg training with weights for JKD. So, quick recap. I've gone over several things. I've talked about isolation movements. I've talked about the different variations of leg training, how you want to change your angles, how you want to change up your training, and how you want to change your overall mindset. So this is another concept, key concept. If you are also a martial artist in the same or similar realm as I am, then I'm going to show you how you must train to get maximum results. Yes, you want to gain strength. Yes, you want to build lean muscle over time, but as a martial artist, you must also focus even more and primarily on functionality. That is muscle function. That is basically how the muscles are going to work in consistent combinations, kick after kick, punch after punch, whatever it is, and then punch and punch, and kicking combination, whatever it is with you, you must increase your overall functionality of the muscle. How do we do that? Well, we teach our muscles in different ways how to convert or how to transfer your energy and or your transferring from speed, the ability to have speed, the ability to have strength. What do I, and other aspects. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, so let's say for instance, somebody grabs and attacks you and you give them an elbow, boom, boom, and you give them a kick, boom, 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 and say you're actually really fast or whatever, okay, but then they grab you and they hold on to you, and you don't have that strength to muster up to be able to get out of a hold or anything like that, to be able to relax your body and the strength to turn around, boom, maybe throw them off you, get them off you, whatever, then you are not going to be as well-rounded as you honestly should be, and you must be as a martial artist. Same aspect of if you are very strong, but you don't have that functionality of the muscle, which is going to come after repetition and changing the angles and changing your exercises, just like I teach you, then you will not be able to defend yourself very well on the street when being attacked. Also, if you don't have the muscular endurance, the ability to repetitively, boom, boom, punch after punch, kick after kick, maybe doing push-up after push-up, pull-up after pull-up. You don't have that proper muscular endurance, you will not be able to withstand the threshold for a period of time to be able to defend yourself if somebody else is, say, as skilled as you or conditioned as you or more conditioned or whatnot, and you don't have that muscular endurance capabilities to be able to do punch after punch, kick after kick without being fatigued or tired or getting, worn the hell out. Guess what? Once again, you're not going to be well-rounded enough to be able to defend yourself fully in the street when being attacked. Okay, JKD is all about the reality of it all. There's nothing wrong with MMA or cage fighting, UFC, whatever you want to call it, whatever realm you might be in. Nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, I respect you for that. It takes a lot of discipline, just like it does me as a martial artist. However, I teach people how to be able to defend themselves on the street. I can teach people how to defend themselves in a cage, probably even in a boxing ring, even though I've never actually trained anybody to necessarily box or whatever, but I know the aspects of it, the conditioning and everything like that. But what I teach and what JKD teaches is how to defend yourself and be able to handle yourself and be a free spirit when being attacked in the street. That's called real life reality, and that's what this is all about. So, let's get into the good stuff here. Basically, what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you, and like always, finding your own way is way, but I'm going to have to show you a quick little training session, something similar that I actually normally do, and I'm just going to give you some simulation exercises. I want you to try this actual exercise training session, but then I want you to, like always, find your own way as way. So what we're going to start off with, we're going to start off with some deadlifts. Now this is not a whole lot of weight of deadlifts, but I will explain something as far as the muscle functionality, as I was discussing. What I do a lot of is I will literally switch from first I'll do deadlifts, then I'll go into Romanian deadlifts, which are stiff-legged deadlifts. There's a couple ways you can do them. I actually literally almost lock my knees, boom, and I actually go on do them from a footstool. If you want more insight on this, I do have those in my leg training playlist. Okay, leg training with weights. I don't remember the exact name of the playlist. However, I show you kind of explain that more in depth, but I'll alternate from regular deadlifts to Romanian deadlifts, or I will do like regular deadlifts. I don't have a squat rack, unfortunately, so I can't do a lot of weight, but sometimes I will do front squats or whatever. That's both mainly for your hips and your quadriceps, Then I'll go into doing 2 exercises of hamstrings, which are going to be Romanian deadlifts, 2 variations. I'll do this, the fully almost locked knees, and I'll just do where I bend my knees a little bit, boom. There's 2 variations, so I'm working my quadriceps with the first 2, deadlifts and squats or similar, and then I'm working my hamstrings, Romanian deadlifts, 2 different variations. You could also do lunges, you could also do other things. But let me show you here, these are more compound movements, what I'm showing you right this minute, and then we'll get into others. Trust me, I'll explain. I'm actually going to show you a cool little training session that you can actually do that's going to help both with isolation movements and compound movements. So a compound movement is basically when you're working your larger muscles, such as a deadlift. Okay, now just keep in mind, a deadlift is a leg exercise and a back exercise. It starts as a leg exercise and then goes into a back exercise. I was actually talking to my oldest son, who's thankfully, he's into weight training. His brother might be getting into it as well. They're 14 and 16, so my 16-year-old, we were talking about deadlifts, and he was mentioning to me that he does deadlifts more on his back days, not so much on his leg days. I'm like, why is that? He's like, well, Dad, they work your back too, you know, and I said, yes, they do, but it is primarily a leg exercise. Yes, it's also a back exercise, and you can work on that. However, you might take less emphasis off your back when you're doing a deadlift on back days, and then you also might, you might be able to benefit from doing them on your leg days. So I said, why don't you just save your deadlifts for leg days, focus on that, and then maybe do them as like a recovery for your back the next day or whatnot, okay? So I don't want to get too much into that, but let's go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to do slow motion deadlift, boom. You want to, obviously with anything, you want to have proper technique, don't want to hurt yourself. Okay, so we're going to do, I'm just going to do some simulation. I'm going to show you how I would normally do this. I'm going to basically go from this compound movement of deadlift, and then I'm going to do some lunges with my kettlebell. That's compound into isolation, but they're both going to be primarily be working my hips and quadricep muscles, which are at the front of your leg. Okay, ready? You ready for this? Now, I do my deadlifts a little different. I do them more narrow than most people do, okay? So you start up here, boom. Leg in the back, okay? Come down slower to get more strength gains. Once you get leg in the back, I'll do it slower again. Leg, back, okay? Now, we're going to move on to, I need to put this here, my one's on level. Immediately, with no rest other than maybe a quick drink or a breather, we're going to move on to lunges. Now, we do this, you want to have this leg out just a little bit more to help you bounce, okay? Now, you can do this same exercise and actually have more of a focus on your hamstrings. I'll show you in just a moment here, okay? All you really need to do is when you go for your lunge, you can do it forward or backward. What I prefer is backward. I'll show you in a minute. I'll just do 3 on each side. What you do is you kind of bend over just a little bit, and you'll feel it. That's actually going to give you more of an emphasis on your hamstring. So you can do that as your alternate, like I said, because I work first mainly my quadriceps and hips, and then I will work my hamstrings. You can also do rear lunges, the same thing. Okay? This side, bend over a little bit to focus on your hamstrings. Okay, now, like I said, depends on your goals, depends on what you're doing, working and whatnot, and what exercise you want. You want to emphasize more on your quadriceps or more on your hamstrings, or just say maybe one day you want to focus a little bit on your quads, more on your hamstrings. The next day, more on your hamstrings, or more on your quads. Whatever it is, okay? Switch it up, switch it up, switch it up. Now, we're going to go into the Romanian stiff leg deadlift. Let me show you how I do it with my footstool. Here, okay. So, show you how I do this. You know, like I said, if you want more in depth, you can watch those other videos, leg training. Okay? So here, breathe in, you come down. And the reason I use a footstool is because of my hamstring flexibility. Go here and then boom, pop up. You want to go down slower for that strength gain and pop up because it should also still be a power movement. Okay, now let's say I went ahead and took maybe a 10-second rest. Here's the second variation. See how this time I'm bending my knees a little bit, coming down. This is how most people do Romanian deadlift. Pop up, go down, fight the eccentric or negative movement. Get more strength. Just one more here. There you go. Now, another thing that I do to focus on my hamstrings, which I will actually do this as well. Another quick insight on a training session is going to be simply, give me a second here, I'm going to put it back here, but it's going to be simply doing kicks, because when doing kicks, especially side kicks, boom, boom, you're actually working you're actually working your hamstring, because this leg right here, you actually are standing on it, working your hamstring this way here, boom, your hips, you're actually working your hamstrings and your hips at the same time. You're more actually loosening up your hips, working your hips, but also loosening at the same time, more loosening than anything. On the side you're doing the kick with, boom, here, and on the other side, you're actually working more your hamstring. So, hopefully this gives you some good insight. Hopefully this week has really taught you a lot about leg training for JKD, because JKD is a much different aspect of martial arts than the traditional types. I have a lot of respect for the traditional types, such as Taekwondo, Karate, Ninjutsu, things like that. However, Jeet Kune is just honestly a lot different. You are actually in 60% conditioning, 40% technique, and other training, so we must keep this in mind. So those of you who want to train, little by little, day by day, the discipline is going to get you to that next level. So challenge yourself with it with this training session today, and remember, find your own way as way. Believe in yourself, believe you can know, and believe that you deserve it. Smack punch, kick that like button, just don't break it. Let's go out and do something. Do more than what you did yesterday. Get your ass up today and grind. What have you done today to push yourself, to grind, to embrace that discomfort? Whatever it is, embrace much more. Push yourself. Let's go.